Okay, what's up? Welcome to Thrill Seeking Teachers.
Hey, everybody.
The place where you will see teachers and their hobbies and what they like to do, which is coasters.
These two teachers.
We are music teachers. I'm David.
I'm Will, and we are roller coaster enthusiasts.
Roller coaster enthusiasts that are teachers.
Our credit count is going nowhere but up.
Yes, we are doing rides, and we just came from HalloWeekends at Cedar Point yesterday.
The best coaster collection, probably, in America. Some may argue that Hershey is better, but I think Cedar Point still is number one for coasters in America.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That might be up for debate, kind of, because there's Kings Island, and
Kings Island doesn't. But they don't have any coasters that a lot of enthusiasts would have in their top 25.
But as a collection and a single part,
they don't have a single bad ride.
Yeah,
they don't. But they don't have a top 10 ride either.
Yeah.
Whereas Cedar Point has several.
Yes. Okay, that is true. So we actually partnered up with our coaster club, which we joined a couple of months ago.
Melanin Coaster Network.
Melanin Coaster Network. I'm going to put it on your screen. Check them out. It's the second largest coaster community and club in the world, and you don't always have to have melanin to join it. Anybody can join. This is a fun group run by CEO Prime. I'm going to put his interview that I did with him exclusively on this channel. He's a really stand-up guy, and I really enjoyed him. I know Will has been following their group for a while
now,
and so when we got a chance, we hopped on it. So I'm definitely grateful for that opportunity. So we went there yesterday. We went around like 11 or 10:45 or something.
11:45.
11:45.
We met at Gatekeeper.
We all met up at Gatekeeper and took pictures. And of course, Gatekeeper is a
B&M wing coaster.
B&M wing coaster. Of course, I'm the person that just loves to ride. He's the historian. He knows a lot more than I do. Being a B&M wing coaster. And this coaster, that day, it was running one train operations, which is pretty rare.
Yeah, because parks invest in B&M because they're reliable. They're capacity machines, so they eat through those lines. And to see Gatekeeper, which typically runs all of its cars, running one train was weird. Although the park closes, today's Saturday, the park closes for the year on Sunday. So they're at the end of their season. So I understand that. And for that, they get some grace.
Yeah, they get grace for that. So it was a little slow start, and it was actually pretty cold that day. It was like overcast. So I'm so glad that we brought thermals and hats. And everything, and gloves. Some of them wore ski goggles, which was pretty weird, but I can see why, because that wind was whipping. So we got onto that ride. That was really good. Then after that, we went over to Raptor, a B&M invert. B&M invert.
So the thing about those earlier inverts, the ones that were built in the 90s, they were B&M's earlier prototypes, so they're almost unnaturally aggressive. And so like with the ones after those earlier ones, like Alpengeist and Montu and Raptor and the first Batman clone, they started taming them down a little bit. But when they reintroduced the new invert and Banshee, and I think it was 16 or 17, they added that aggression back to it again. So I liked Raptor. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, it was intense that day. And you kind of had to keep your head back if you didn't want to go jerking all over the place. That last part in that brake run definitely jolts you. So definitely be careful about that. Keep your head back because you will jolt forward. And that was crazy, but that was our second ride. Of course, then after going to a third ride, which is Valraven. Look, this is why he's a historian. Valraven, which in my opinion, definitely is the best dive coaster in the world as far as what I have rode so far. And it's by
It's up there.
B&M, right?
It's a B&M dive coaster, another capacity machine. They were running all the cars on that. It was running great. I love Valraven. I prefer it over Griffin. It's smoother. It's more graceful.
And
Yeah.
a good feature that they did new this year is that they on the brake run, they actually slowed it down and stopped it before you go over, so it's kind of like a second dive. So it kind of was a new thing that
However,
they didn't do before.
When we rode it at night, it didn't do that.
Oh, it didn't?
It didn't.
Oh, okay.
It went straight through.
Okay, so it depends on like the operation that day. If they want to, they can make it feel like a second dive, or if they just want to run it through, they can just run it through. And then another new kind of feature that we noticed was one of them, they had a little bit of a break before you went into that barrel roll. I think it's called a barrel roll. And
you had some hang time.
You had some hang time. That was definitely new. I was like, whoa.
I like hang time.
Yeah, he loves dangerous rides. You'll find out. And so that was a really, really good. And of course, we rode with MCN, Melanin Coaster Network. So it was a whole party on that ride. So that was a lot of fun. And then we walked over and rode, of course, any coaster enthusiast. If you go to Cedar Point, you must ride Millennium Force, whether you like it or not.
I felt more airtime in my car.
He didn't like it.
We ride Millennium Force every time we go, and it just... I understand for what it was at the time it came out. It was argued.
Yeah, what year? It came out in 2000. So it's
24 years ago.
24 years ago.
At that time, it was the best ride in the world. But like having gone on new ones in these world-class RMCs, it's just tame. Like the first drop, there's no airtime. The first Camelback, there's no airtime. The only time I felt airtime was over a bunny hill just before we were ending the ride.
I was scared. It was very fast, but of course, my favorite Giga coaster of all time right now is Project 305, soon to be called what?
Pantherian.
Now they
Jungle Expedition.
Yeah, Jungle Expedition theme at King's Dominion. That's my favorite Giga coaster, and
mine is the elite world class Fury 325, better than all of them.
No, we argue about this.
The best thing B&M has ever.
No, I disagree, but we have those disagreements as coaster enthusiasts. So Millennium Force, I thought it was good, very fast. Whips you all over. Not even really whips you, but it's just very fast. And
it's fast. I'll give it that. It's fast.
So I think the reason why all the coaster enthusiasts have to do it is kind of like a rite of passage. You must, when you come to Cedar Point, you can't just not ride Millennium Force. That's like a given.
Next year for its 25th anniversary, they're giving it a new paint job. They're reinventing the lift tail cables, so it's gonna get a facelift. It deserves it. It is an icon of the coaster community. So, but it's not what it used to be, considering all of the rides that have come out since.
Well, tell us what you think in the comments about Millennium Force, if you like it or hate it, whatever. But then we went down into Maverick. That was a long walk there. We went to Maverick, and that's made by Intamin.
Intamin, yeah.
Yeah, that's made by, I got that right. It's made by Intamin.
I think at one point Cedar Point had 4 Intamins in the park. They have Maverick, Millennium Force, Top Thrill Dragster. What's the other? Is that the one? 3 Intamins in the park. Yeah, 3 Intamins.
What was Magnum Intamin? Oh, that was Arrow.
Yeah, Arrow.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, definitely Maverick. First of all, world-class elite. Like, it just proves that you don't have to have a big coaster to have like one of the best coasters in the world. Multi-launch coaster.
They say Maverick is the coaster that ended the coaster wars. Magnum XL 200, which we rode, started it, and Maverick ended it.
Wow. I don't know why it ended it though. You was kind of saying it, but
well, it proved that bigger is not always better, because with Magnum XL 200, which was the world's first hypercoaster, all of the major theme parks started going, who's going to build the biggest attraction next?
Oh, okay.
And then they were coming up with these huge rides, and then post I think it was 2009, 2010, they did that from 89 to 2010 when Maverick launched. They were like, okay, we don't have to have these big ass roller coasters to thrill people. And
Yeah.
so they've gotten smaller, but they're still doing hypercoasters and giga coasters, but bigger is not always better in the coaster community.
It's not. And because I'm telling you, that ride is multi-launch. It is intense from start to finish.
That is intimate airtime. That Millennium Force.
That is some airtime. That accelerated lift hill is just, it whips you over. No matter where you sit, you're going to get an awesome ride.
Yes.
So it's not even like you got to sit in the front or back. It's wherever you sit is going to be absolute fire. So I definitely recommend anybody that is a thrill seeker or loves any airtime, you definitely need to ride that.
Definitely.
That is a definite. So we rode that. That was awesome.
We rode that twice.
Actually, did we? Oh,
no,
twice.
3 times. No, twice. 3 times.
No, twice. Because we rode it at a morning and night.
We rode Stevie 4 times.
Yes.
I think yesterday was the most rides we ever got on Steel Vengeance.
Oh, yeah. That was, okay, so.
I'll give you a little background. So, Steel Vengeance was always in my top 3, but it was never my number 1. Last night, it was solidified as my number 1 coaster again. They turned off the trim on the brake run, the mid brake run, and it just barreled through it. And like it felt like a complete layout instead of the first half and the second half. So the intensity remained throughout the course, because my problem with Steel Vengeance was always the mid brake run always tamed it.
Yeah.
But because they removed the trims, it just went through and it felt like one complete ride. That's why Wildcats Revenge was my number 1 instead of Steel Vengeance, because Wildcats Revenge is more compact, so it maintains its intensity the entire ride.
Yeah, so I think, well, when he was saying Stevie, that's what the coaster community calls Steel Vengeance, which was the next ride that we went to. So after Maverick, we went to Steel Vengeance, which is a RMC hybrid hyper coaster. Yes, got it right. So
it's a hyper because the lift hill is over 200 feet.
It was absolutely awesome. We rode it in the morning. We did that, and then we rode it like 3 more times at night. So we did, which was great. We actually did 2 phases of our trip to Cedar Point. We did the morning, daytime, and then we came back to the hotel, rested up, and then came back at night, which was
7:30.
Yes. So we get all these night rides on all the coasters again. That was really, really good.
Really fun.
That was awesome. So we rode Stevie, aka Steel Vengeance, a total of 4 times. And one thing I do want to discuss that was kind of a little off was the invasiveness of the checks. Because it does slow everything down, the evasiveness of checks. They really want you to put everything, even a gum wrapper. They want everything not to be in your pocket. Nothing. You can't have nothing. You can't have glasses. If your glasses are not strapped, they're not. You gotta take them off. You can't have anything. I think, in my opinion, as a coaster enthusiast that has been to a lot of different roller coasters, this Steel Vengeance has been the most invasive. Because you go through a metal detector and then they wand you. So like you're in a club, like you're about to go in a club or something. And I think it's a little too much. I don't like it.
I'm not on the same page with David at this one, because I know how the industry works, how sometimes they have to abide by the policies of their insurance companies. A little history into what happened. Steel Vengeance, Stunt Pilot, Twisted Timbers, and what's the other RMC at Cedar Fair Park? What's the one at California's Great America? Oh, it's Stunt Pilot. Yeah, they all three of those major RMCs opened in 2018, and in that same year they all had big mishaps that involved projectiles flying off the coasters and either hitting people or hitting someone behind them. And those people, and if the train is going 75, 80 miles per hour, and then that big heavy foam flies out of your pocket and hits someone, they're going to really get injured. So at the end of the day, the insurance companies don't care about the logistics of the operation. They care about not spending any more money for lawsuits. So I kind of get why they have to do what they have to do, because their insurance company tells them to.
Yeah, I'm on the part where I kind of disagree, because since that year there have been so many other great rides, Candemonium, all these different
That's a B&M.
I know Sky Rush,
That's Sentiment.
and Wildcats Revenge,
Different park.
Right. All these are different parks, but at the same time, all of these rides have risk of projectile stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And how come just this ride has to have, because I don't think, correct me if I'm
insurance company.
Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I don't think, I think the other rides that were made that same year that were RMC do not have as much evasiveness as Steel Vengeance.
Twisted Timbers used to, they stopped. But they continue it here at Cedar Point for Steel Vengeance. I think it also has to do with the size and the scope of the ride itself. I think Steel Vengeance, Zadra, and Iron Gwazi are all huge attractions. Steel Vengeance, I think, is the biggest as far as track length. So I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you can let us know in the comments if there's anybody that has insight into all of this. But I just thought it was something that really slowed everything down. Mm-hmm. And towards the end of the night, though, that it was a lot faster, because people started. Yeah, it was people were leaving or this and the other, so it wasn't as big of a wait. But people notice all the time that when it's full, that you can be in there for 2 hours because of just such invasiveness. Mm-hmm. So I don't know about that, but after we did Steel Vengeance in the morning time, we went to his now favorite
my bucket list coaster. We've been to Cedar Point several times, and each time we've been, Magnum XL 200 has always been down. It's the world's first hypercoaster built in 1989 by Aero Development, which is now bankrupt. So and no longer exists. It was absorbed into S&S, mm-hmm. which still exists. That I'll give you more insight on that in another video. But Aero Development used to be world class, cutting edge. Like, their roller coasters at the time were the most elite roller coasters in the world. So Cedar Point said, we want the biggest and baddest thing you can build. I think the lift hill is 204 feet, which classifies it as a hyper coaster. No, it's 200 feet, I'm sorry. XL 200, it's a 200 feet drop, which classifies it as a hyper coaster. It's the first in the world. Oh my God. When I tell you,
my God,
that probably is the most violent airtime in the park. I rode the back car. When I tell you, when it went over the hill, it felt like the back car lifted off the track and fell back down.
Was it like, I was wondering, was it like this in 1989?
I don't know, and I don't care, but that was the most violent airtime I have.
That was crazy.
That was the most violent airtime I have ever experienced.
I didn't ride the back, and I did not want to ride the back.
It hurt my back. That was the most violent airtime. I loved it. I wanted to ride it again, but it was getting late. But that was the most violent airtime I have ever experienced on a roller coaster, period.
So all of a sudden
Period.
now, this is his new favorite
That's my favorite
hypercoaster now.
Yes.
For me, I rode it once. I rode it in the middle, and I felt the craziness. There's a borderline for me between excitement, thrilling, and dangerous. like I felt. First of all, the lift hill is janky as crap. I don't like people, or not people. I don't like rides being kept there for historical preference. I think that, every ride has its expiration. Its shelf life. I think that Arrow, first of all, it has huge problems all the time. But yes, it's still elite because you got people like Will that will get on that ride and rave about it because of its dangerousness. But I don't share that sentiment, but I understand that, people want these historical landmarks, but
Magnum XL 200 is an ace historic landmark. So I doubt that these coasters at these parks that have these old Arrow coasters, they're not going to remove them anytime soon.
I think they should.
If they can keep them up. Loch Ness Monster was just reinvented at Busch Gardens.
And we rode that, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think.
I still didn't like it.
It felt smooth.
It didn't feel those.
It felt smooth to me.
That lift hill was Jake. It was like
they're reinventing Anaconda at King's Dominion.
They're actually doing it?
Yeah. They're reinventing Anaconda. So these parks that have these classic Arrows, they're investing money to keep them classics.
I don't know.
Arrow's the company that started it all as far as creating a
Arrow and Schwarzkopf.
Arrow and Schwarzkopf, they're reinventing these coasters.
Yeah, but I don't think that everything needs to be reinvented. I think there's a shelf life, and then we move to something new and innovative, better. I'm not in the fact that I love that ride or rides like that. I think it's a little unsafe. People who do not know how unsafe it is will get on it and be traumatized.
Magnum was fantastic.
I didn't like it. So I rode it once. He rode it twice.
We rode in the middle, and then I rode in the back by myself.
Back.
Oh my gosh.
Don't ride in the back.
That was crazy.
Don't ride in the back.
Crazy.
Don't do it. It's too much. And then after that we went home, came back at night with a Halloween theme. I'll put some of the video on the screen and you'll see they had really good theming. The pumpkins, the ambiance was really, really good. It just was a lot of fun. It was good. It was just a good experience. I think for Will, overall, if he felt complete, it just felt like a complete experience for him. It
felt like a complete experience for me because it was the first time we had ever gone to Cedar Point where I got to ride the ride that started the Coaster Wars, which has always been on my bucket list. Rode it twice. Now I feel complete. If I go to Cedar Point again, great. If I don't, whatever. We're going back next year for Media Day. For the reopening,
hopefully,
Top Thrill 2 and
Sirens. Well, tell me how you feel about that, about the Top Hill.
Okay, so the coaster community. I worked in business for many, many years, and the coaster community is saying things that I believe, as someone that worked in business for many, many years, does not make good business sense. It's to my understanding that Cedar Fair, the former Cedar Fair and Cedar Point, paid Zamperla tens of millions of dollars for this attraction, for them just to decide, we're going to scrap it next year. That is a huge loss and a huge financial risk that I don't see them taking. I think they want a return on their investment, and they're going to try to get it. And that's business sense. So all of them saying, they're just going to close it next year, that does not make good business sense. I think they're working. They were working while we were there yesterday.
Yeah,
they're working and they're testing the ride. They're working on it during the off season, and then Siren's Curse is Vekoma. Vekoma is a tried and true manufacturer. They open their stuff on time. Vekoma opens their stuff on time, with the exception of Great Adventure.
And we actually got to see a little bit of the construction of that.
Siren's Curse.
And I'll put that on the screen, a little bit of stuff on there.
Mm-hmm. But I'm excited for that. It'll be one of the few tilt coasters in the world. This one at Cedar Point will be the largest tilt coaster in the world.
Yes.
You know, Cedar Point, they got to do the biggest, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
So we're doubly excited about that. I think it's going to be one of those rides where the general public will look at it and say, that looks kind of dangerous. I don't care. I'm riding it.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely riding that. Hopefully on Media Day, we'll be able to give you a view of Top Thrill 2. And hopefully I'll have my GoPro and I will take you on that ride with me. That will be, even when I did Top Thrill, the first one, I was like, it's a one and done for me because even that was ridiculous.
So the thing about even Top Thrill 2, the difference between King Ka and Top Thrill at Cedar Point, King Ka gives you the over the shoulder restraints, which he likes. I don't care.
I love it. I love those.
Whereas Top Thrill and Top Thrill 2 just gives you the lap restraint. I love it. Yeah. Love it. Love it, love it. You feel the sense of speed. You feel the sense of danger.
Like you're about to go off the...
Love it.
I don't want
love
that.
It. He hated it.
I hated it.
We got off that thing. He was like, that's it.
That's it. That's a one and done. But I want the ride credit. I do want the ride credit. You know, I'm a coaster enthusiast. You have to have the ride credit. So even the family coasters, which we did get the ride credit to Blue Streak, which is a family coaster there.
We've never done Gemini. We've never done Cedar Creek Mine Ride. We've never done their new Spinning Wild Mouse.
Oh, yeah, we were supposed to ride that.
We forgot that.
We forgot the Wild Mouse.
The park has 18 coasters, and some of them are kiddie coasters that we just blatantly ignore.
Yeah.
We've done Iron Dragon. We don't have to do that again because of all of the suspended aero coasters. That is the weakest. None of them compared to the Bat. Well, maybe the Vortex. Maybe the Vortex at Canada's Wonderland is better than the Bat, but
the Bat now
is elite.
Which is at Kings Island.
Kings Island, yeah. But out of 18 coasters, we've ridden most of them.
Yeah. So it was an awesome day, wonderful day. And we are getting ready to head back home now and be teachers again.
We're filming in the car.
We're filming in the car. We're heading back to be teachers again. And so, we got to turn off our thrill seeker mind and put back our teacher mind. So, you know what? If you like our channel, if you're a teacher, like and subscribe because teachers need hobbies. And tell us in the comments, what's your hobby?
Yes.
And we hope to see you again soon. We're going to, I don't know where we're going next. But
Fiesta, Texas.
Fiesta, Texas, definitely.
Six Flags Fiesta, Texas.
Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. We might have to take some personal days. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But we're definitely going to that.
Yeah.
So we'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
You.